Star Wars The Acolyte, Episode 3, Destiny. What was the problem? What was the whole big deal about everything that was going on with the lore and the canon breaking? This was just a story of witches who used the Force differently than the Jedi or the Sith used the Force. They just view it differently. You know, the whole internet was in arms about how George Lucas initially thought about how the Force and how this was going to break canon, and I don't think it does any of that. I don't think it really messes with what he intended for the Force to really be like. Most of the backlash over this show so far has nothing to do with the Star Wars of the show. If you disagree, please leave a comment below. But the issues have been with the showrunner and the sexuality of the characters and the actors and the other things that have nothing to do with the Acolyte as a show. Please prove me wrong. But what the show has shown us is just a group of witches, which we've already seen in Star Wars, The Clone Wars, and Night Sisters with Ahsoka, that view the Force in a different way than the Jedi do, which lines up with the way that the other witches that we've already seen in canon view the Force, more as a thread that you pull instead of a force that you push. It all binds and surrounds us. The biggest plot point in this episode is the Ascension Ceremony. It's where the twins really fully become witches. And it's obvious right away that the two sisters feel opposite about the lifestyle ahead of them. Osha does not want to become a witch while May does. We see their individual personalities immediately when they meet at the Bunta tree, which is the tree where the poison was derived from the episode 2, the poison that Torben took. There was also some talk about them being styled the same. Of course they're styled the same. They're twins. I mean, in real life, they're actually sisters. You know, one's older, one's younger. They're not twins, but they're also meant to be a dyad in the Force, like Kylo Ren and Rey were in The Rise of Skywalker. So we see the Ascension Ceremony, and we see May go through the process. We see the rings appear on her forehead, just like we saw with Endor in the first episode. But the Jedi actually interrupt the ceremony before Osha is able to complete it. And they're going around stealing babies to train as Jedi from witches, apparently. So what's happening is they're trying to police a Republic law that says that the Jedi are the only ones able to train Force-sensitive children, and they're trying to take the children that they already know that they have because they've been spying on them. So they came in with bold-faced lies, told them that they didn't know the planet was inhabited, but Mother Anastasia called them out on it, said, no, you're the all-knowing Jedi. Of course you knew that there was somebody here. So they go through that process. They agree to let the girls train because Osha really wants to do it. And the next day when they go to train, they tell the girls to fail. So May fails the test. Osha passes the test. May is mad at Osha. She's not going to let her go. She decides that she's going to start a fire to keep her sister here. So that's basically the biggest plot point in the episode. What we did not see is the full story of what happened after the fire. The Jedi told Osha that her sister started a fire and it destroyed everything. But what we saw was May start a fire upstairs and a whole bunch of other stuff happening downstairs that wasn't on screen. Then when Soul, who just happened to already be there, showed up to rescue Osha, they're walking back through and they see all the witches who are already dead. So we don't know how it happened. We don't know why it happened, but that's how they're explaining it to us. If I had to make a theory, I would say that while the girls were upstairs with the whole fire situation, possibly the witches took over the mind like they did Torben in the other episode. They took over Jedi's minds, and I think it was Kilnaka and Torben. I think we've seen them fight in a trailer, but I think they took over their minds and they fought each other, and in order to stop it, Master Endara had to do something to the witches. Because we know that Master Soul was out trying to save May and Osha, or at least Osha. So that's what I think may have happened, and I think that that might be the viewpoint that we need to see from the Jedi in the upcoming episodes. So I think the show is a good show. I'm on board with the way it's going. I'm on board with the lore that it's expanding on, and I think that the backlash that the show is getting isn't for the show itself. It isn't for the writing. It isn't for the subject matter in the show. It's for other things influenced by people who aren't objective in Star Wars enough. Right? It's people who have said that they've disliked everything since Revenge of the Sith. So I really can't speak to the personal attacks, the political stuff that I keep hearing, but I've made it a point just to remove all that stuff from my timeline and go to do not show this channel on my YouTube for a lot of the content that I'm seeing with the thumbnails, with the you know what you've seen. If you've been scrolling through any type of Star Wars content on YouTube recently, you know how you've seen it, and it's a lot of clickbait with a lot of hateful speech on the front. So I don't want to get into that lane. It kind of feels like the whole crowd that didn't want their football changed. When there was a whole kneeling thing. So I'm just going to try to stay out of that part. I'm going to try to be supportive of the show and leave it at that. Still a good show. Still on board. And I can't wait to see what's going to happen in the next 2 episodes. Leslie Helen actually said that episode 5 is the one that everybody's going to be talking about. So if you have some more thoughts on the show, please let me know in the comments what you think. Let me know if you enjoy it. Let me know if you're not enjoying it. And let me know why you're not enjoying it. And hopefully it's not because of those reasons that we just went over. So every Star Wars project isn't for everybody, and I don't fault anybody for not liking it. I just don't like the way people were trying to get us not to like it before we all saw it. So still on board. Can't wait till next Wednesday, and we were going to see you back then. Be here watching the entire series, whether it's all good or whether it's all bad, and we're gonna be back to talk about more next week. So this is Positively Star Wars, and we'll see you next week for another video.